Watch as our nourishment drops. Oh, am I being interrupted? Immediately? You just can't catch a break, huh? Can't even get a proper night's sleep.
Today the patrols will be doubled. Keep your eyes peeled. If you see anything out of the ordinary, report it immediately. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
It is I, Henry. Forgive the intrusion. I didn't wake you, boy, did I?
My lady, no, not at all. But what brings you here at this hour?
I thought you could do with a little wine. It's just what you need to help you sleep.
My lady, thank you. You really shouldn't. You could have sent a servant.
I was going to. But to tell you the truth, I couldn't sleep either. I thought of you while saying my prayers. How awful it must have been for you. I came to offer you solace, to let you know you're not alone.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
You're welcome. Now, Henry, I know this is all very new and strange for you, but I want you to feel at home here. You're not to worry about anything except getting better. God knows you've been through a terrible ordeal. I know what it is to be left alone in the world, although your loss is much greater. But with God's help, the pain will ease in time. And it can help to talk about it, if you feel like it.
Well, I was here to warn them, so telling them the story makes sense, although I wonder if being too graphic or something might somehow, like, turn everything to sour in some way.
You might be right, my lady. I'll tell you what happened. It was terrible and unexpected. The day started just like any other. Father sent me into town on some errands.
Oh, we have options. Oh, and I have a time limit. Oh, shit. I want to collect debt.
A fellow by the name of Kunish owed money to Father, who sent me to collect it from him. Only Kunish had no intention of paying. It got a bit heated, as often happens when there's money involved, but Kunish still wouldn't cough up the coin. Father was too generous for his own good, letting even a scoundrel like that buy on credit.
Oh.
When I'd done all the errands, I headed back home. I promised Father I'd help him with his work, and I was looking forward to it. He was forging a sword for Sir Radzig. The sword was taking shape when Sir Radzig himself came to have a look at it. He praised Father's work and said that with his smithing skills, he could easily make a living in Prague or Vienna.
You don't say.
But Sigismund's horde was already on the horizon, ready to attack the town. A horde of soldiers was amassed. Pennants flapped in the wind, the armour glinted in the sunlight, and the horses whinnied impatiently. They were waiting for Sigismund to give the command to attack.
How awful.
And then death descended on Skalitz.
Rather verbose and flowery language so far. I guess that's the approach here, though, with the... It's because I'm doing that kind of option here.
Father told me to take shelter in the castle while he went to get Mother. She was stranded in the town, surrounded by Sigismund's butchers. And then I saw him knocking down one Cuman after another. I never saw him fight like that. But then the leader of Sigismund's raiding party, a knight in full armour, saw Father and charged at him. But then the leader of Sigismund's raiding party, a knight in full armour, saw Father and charged at him. He cut down my father without a thought. And then he turned on my mother. And he murdered her in cold blood.
You poor boy. May the Lord have mercy on their souls.
I ran to the castle like our neighbours to take cover, but I didn't make it. I had to find another way to save myself. The men on the battlements called down to me to flee to Talmberg and warn you. I was lucky I knew a concealed path around the castle. I needed a horse to get to the safety of Talmberg and to warn you all.
And with all that was happening, you thought of others like a good Christian.
Then I heard a scream. It was Teresa, the mill wench. She'd been caught by a gang of Cuman savages who planned to violate her. I had Sir Radzig's sword, and even though there were several of them and they were better armed, I had to try and save her. I wanted there to be at least one person I'd helped. And I succeeded, even though it almost cost me my life. After that, I stole a horse from them and rode off.
Like a valiant knight.
I'll never forget the horror. It will haunt me for the rest of my life.
You've learned women in the Middle of Ages.
It's terrible. How could something like that happen?
God alone knows why he lets such things happen.
You poor boy. I understand your grief, but God is not to blame for the ills of this world. That is the work of Satan and those who do his bidding. Those who are corrupted by greed, envy, and pride. You must not lose faith, whatever life brings. Fate has not been merciful to me, and my husband either. Although in comparison to the horrors you went through. I was young when I married my husband. It was my father's wish. Divish was a lot older than I, but a woman must bear her lot. Shortly after our marriage, before I even got a look at Talmberg, the castle was stormed and my husband was imprisoned.
Really?
My husband had some quarrel with Sir Havel Medek of Valdek, who decided to resolve it by force. He stormed the castle, burned down the village of Probislavitz, and killed many of our men, even the old chamberlain. He imprisoned my husband in the castle and put his own garrison there.
That's awful.
I was barely 18 years old, and all of a sudden, I was left alone with Sir Robert. We didn't know what to do. We went to Prague to appeal to the king and sought help from Divish's friends, but all to no avail. We tried for years, but it seemed I was destined to be left alone and my husband to rot in jail in his own castle.
Years, you say?
7 years. That's how long it took before Havel was condemned as an enemy of the crown. And even then, he refused to surrender the castle and release my husband. In the end, I raised the money to pay a ransom, and only then, by the grace of Lord Jesus, did I finally lay eyes on my husband once more.
7 years? And was Havel punished for it?
Never. And after 7 years, my husband returned to me an infirm old man.
Sir Divish seems like a good, strong man.
Certainly, only he has many concerns. He had to rebuild Talmberg. After he was released, the king appointed him Burgrave of Prague Castle, and he was very busy. He had no time for me at all. But at least we were in the city, and there was something going on. And now, we're here.
My lady, you're still young and beautiful. Your best years are still ahead of you.
Would that that were true, lad. Would it were true. But what am I doing bothering you with this? You have troubles enough of your own. I'll go and let you sleep. I enjoyed our little talk, Henry. Good night, and God bless.
Good night, my lady.
We learned even more about women in the Middle of Ages. Why do I keep saying Middle of Ages? That's how that works.
Move in, people! Come on! Come on! We're running out of time! Quickly! We have to close the gates! You can't go back!
Henry, help us!
Help us, son. Don't be a coward.
Henry, wake up. You don't want to miss this.
What is it? What's happening?
Come to the battlements. One of our patrols reported a company heading here from Skalitz.
Weirdest coincidence. I just watched the ritual like last night, which heavily features somebody being accused of being a coward by somebody who's dead in the repeated visions over and over again. Torch. Probably use that, right? If you need a light at night, use your torch by holding this, but if you want to keep your left hand free, for example, for shield, it's best to drink Nighthawk poison. Holding left. There we go. Oh, it just lights itself. I couldn't see anything. Apparently it's an emergency. Out here? Yeah, I think so. Go to the battlements via the gateway stairs. Here we go. You know, is this not going to inconspicuous? Me walking up on you guys with a giant glowing torch?
Good health to you.
Do you know what's happening?
No. What about you?
Me? How could I?
I saw you with Sir Robard. Didn't he tell you anything?
No, nothing.
Productive dialogue. Yep, I guess they wouldn't know anything necessarily.
So quick, so we wouldn't have time to join forces.
Aye, you might be right. For sure Sigismund ain't no fool. A backstabbing swine, maybe.
So they're definitely convinced that Sigismund attacking was some sort of auxiliary force he's gained control of.
Hey, you men down there. Tell the people outside the walls to prepare for attack. Quickly, do you understand?
What's going on?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Why would Sigismund advance on Talmud in the night? Especially since he's lost the element of surprise after the raid on Skalitz.
Maybe it's not him.
Then who is it? The scouts Divish sent to Skalitz to spy on Sigismund said he'd set up camp and was getting ready to storm the castle. And Sir Radzig is an experienced soldier. He'd surely hold the castle for quite some time. It doesn't make sense.
What else did the spies see?
Not much of anything. Before they could get close enough, this huge storm started. And you were right. Sigismund has a hell of a lot of soldiers, including all manner of mercenaries. An army like that costs a fortune. Well, anyway, we'll find out when they get here, won't we?
Aye, we will.
Halt! Who goes there?
Lucifer and all his minions! Who else, Robert?
Sir Radzig! What a relief.
Is his lordship there with you?
Yes,
Yes, sir. He is right here. What are you doing up so late, Divish? At your age, you need a good night's sleep.
Well, Radzik, you didn't exactly pick the best time for an outing either. In a big hurry?
It was a bit of a scramble, all right. Believe it or not, this tempest is a godsend for me and my men. As my old granddad used to say, better a sore throat than a slit throat.
I'd say your grandfather was a wise man. Your messenger told us what happened.
Messenger?
The lad you sent to warn us.
He's alive? He made it to you?
He's here with me. He only got away by the skin of his teeth, though.
Thank God.
A brave young man. But tell me, friend, how on earth did you manage to get away?
Thank God for this tempest. When it began, Sigismund's Tatars crawled into their holes and left us storming the castle for more clement weather. We were able to sneak out right under their noses. The Lord be praised. We wouldn't have stood a chance against them.
Would you like to spend the night in Talmberg?
No, no. When Sigismund finds the castle empty tomorrow, he might come looking for us. We'd only be exposing you to danger. Without me and my men, he has no call to attack you.
What will you do then?
We'll march to Ratai. It's only a short way, and there we'll have a better chance of defense and enough room for all of these people. If Sigismund should come, better bend your knee, Divish. There's no point dying in a battle that's futile.
You're right there.
Is that boy still with you?
I'm here, sir.
You have courage, lad. That I can't deny. I am sorry about what happened. Would you care to join us?
I'd like to, sir, but first I have to return to Skalitz.
Are you mad? What do you want there?
I can't leave my mother and father. I won't leave their corpses rotting in the street. I'll join you once I've taken care of them.
Don't even think of going back there, you donkey. Are you tired of living?
But sir...
Quiet! I'm sorry about your father, but getting killed as well won't help him. Divish, make sure that lad doesn't budge from Talmberg until things quieten down.
Not to worry, friend. Anyway, he's injured and needs to recover. I'll lock him up here as if he were Havel of Baldic.
I've seen you've grown a thick skin since your tribulation, sir. But thank you. We'll meet again when circumstances are more favorable. Farewell.
Farewell, friend, and good fortune. Give my regards to Sir Hanush.
I will, and good luck to you and your people too. These are dark times. Move out!
Anywhere, people! Move out! It's only a short way to Ratai now!
The leader of my homeland seems iffy. He keeps making faces, and I can't tell if the faces that he's making are like just weird, like uncanny valley video game faces, or if I'm supposed to read that as him being suspicious and conniving or something. But I keep thinking that he's up to something.
Men, tonight we'll have triple patrols. Sort out the watches between you as always. And if I catch anyone boozing, playing dice, or slacking off, I'll personally break every bone in his body. I want you to keep a close eye on everything nearby. Sigismund will surely have sent spies, and likely men as well, to follow the Skalitz people now he knows they've fled. Keep your eyes peeled, and report everything to me at once. Understood?
Bye. They did it. They figured out the pathing.
I need to have a word with you.
As they run into the walls. Hello?
What is it you need?
I could use an extra pair of eyes, and yours are keen. Will you keep watch on the battlements with my men?
Is that a request or an order?
I'd rather it was a request you answered yes to.
Of course I'll help. I have to pay you back somehow after all you've done for me.
Splendid. And don't worry, I'll tell the men to relieve you later.
It occurs to me that I'm not wearing my clothes. Because I forgot to put them all on. Because I was just in such a hurry, you know. Which I think I was wearing clothes again during the cutscene. I can't tell if they're pre-rendered necessarily, or if they just decide to put me in full clothes with no patches on my clothes or anything whenever that happens. How do I keep watch? I can't see shit. Like, I can't see any. Do I need to put away the torch? Whoa. Oh, I have to put away the torch by, like, holding it. Put the sword away. Try to stay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the lighting actually works that way. That's cool. Your eyes adjust. How does one keep watch of the battlements? What do I do if something happens? Can't see over that.
Wandering around like a stray sheep. Must be your first watch, eh? I don't think anything much will be happening today. You can just lean against the wall and wait till morning. I'll show you what's what.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, just bumped into that guy. He's oddly dismissive of the whole concept of the watch, even though we might be under attack. If they realize that the castle's abandoned. So the back button is how you skip forward in time. So I only got like 2 hours of sleep, unfortunately. He's having a hell of a day. What time is it right now, actually? Wait, is it already the end of the night? Let's skip forward 1 hour into the morning. Fortunately, I think resting might have fixed the brightness problem, but I'm not super sure. A little later. Starry night. I like seeing how the time transitions in the game. Is this the sun is rising song? Seems like it might be. I look outside and the entire area is just on fire. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. I was in stasis. Or whatever the player does. It says wait until morning. I'm still in a run quest, apparently. Well, at least I had some food. And the rest is in my inventory unless it goes bad or something. Uh-oh. Bad sounds are happening. Can anyone give me armor, please?
Let's go! Let's go! Move it! Quick! Go! Go!
Jesus. We're going to hit them with skeletons.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners.
See how the self-appointed king wins the love and respect of his loyal subjects.
Indeed, Robard. Sigismund of Luxembourg has a rare talent for winning people over to his cause. We may be in for a surprise, though. I don't think he will set his heathen dogs on us today.
Greetings, Lord of Talmberg.
That's the bastard who led the attack at Scallis and killed my parents.
Don't be an idiot! Do you want to end up like them?
I am Sir Markwart von Aulitz. I come in the name of Sigismund of Luxembourg, King of Hungary and Croatia, who has resolved to strike against those who disrupt concord in the land and to restore order in the name of his brother, King Wenceslas IV.
Restore order by burning and pillaging the king's estates.
Greetings, Sir Markwart. The efforts of the king's brother to bring order to this chaotic land are undoubtedly noble. It seems to me, though, that he and his army have somewhat strayed. As Burgrave of Prague Castle, I am entirely beholden to the king. And here in Talmberg, divine peace reigned until your arrival. To what then do we owe the honor of your visit?
Yesterday, His Majesty took action against the enemy of the kingdom, the Radzig Kobyla, who has been using the silver from the Skalitz mine to fund insurrection against the crown. Unfortunately, the insurgent escaped. Would you happen to know, noble sir, where he might be at this time?
As far as I know, the Sir Radzig of which you speak is the king's hetman at Skalitz. I find it hard to imagine that he would rebel against our king. Nevertheless, I can assure you that Sir Radzig is not at Talmberg. He would be a fool indeed to flee from one castle, where he has little chance of defense, to another, where he has even less. Or do you take the view that my humble manner is any obstacle to your army?
Am I to inform the king then that the Radzig Kobyla is not at Talmberg and that he has your loyalty?
Sir Radzig Kobyla is not here, and I have no intentions of getting embroiled in affairs from which I have nothing to gain.
Very well, sir. As you wish. I will relay your words to the king in the hope he will be as well disposed as you seem to be.
Those who have clean consciences and goodwill may find themselves well disposed even at moments like this, when there is little cause for joy. Farewell, sir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
My lord, you have my utmost admiration.
Get on with you, Robard.
What the hell?
Oh, apparently I'm offending people. Oh, he just fell.
What the hell are you?
Did Robard just fall off the wall? Oh, Robard, no. You're out of pre-rendered land, and now you can't figure out how to be a person anymore. Poor guy. This is also some relatively strong story setup at the beginning of this game, with nice cutscenes and decent everything, really. I'm just slightly worried that it's going to be non-stop cutscenes for like 5 hours before the game's... Oh, Robard disappeared when I turned around. That's one way to fix the simulation problem. He fell right off the platform. Is that Robard? Did he get back up here magically? He totally did. Oh, you sneaky, sneaky man. Yeah, the game seems to really struggle with pathing. A lot of people walking into walls. He's almost at the staircase, but not quite. Here, maybe I can help him.
Damn. Jesus.
Oh, I went through him. You can't fix that. Poor guy. Maybe that's why everything's so pre-rendered. I'm convinced that half the reason this game's such a giant download might actually be some of the cutscenes, but I'm not really sure. Mr. Robard, would you like to have a talk? Am I supposed to talk to you now or wait for you to get somewhere? Oh yeah, talk to him. Bury your loved ones in Skalitz. Talk to Sir Robard. Get a horse. So we still have burying our family as being an objective. The question is whether I can get there safely or not.
Good health to you.
Why did Sigismund burn down Skalitz and then come here too?
That's war for you, lad. Certain lords have resolved to take things into their own hands and eliminate anyone who doesn't share their view. Unfortunately, Sir Radzig is one of those. And what's more, he was sitting on a pile of silver that could help King Wenceslas' allies.
What happened in Kuttenberg?
Kuttenberg? Well, I'm just a simple soldier, but the good Lord gave me ears, and I've heard some things from Sir Divish and from those who fled from Sigismund's pillaging.
Were there many?
Indeed, but it was the Kuttenberg mercenaries who came to see me, because I knew them from before.
I see.
Listen, lad, these are all games of the high aristocracy. In Prague, a cabal of nobles rebelled against King Wenceslas, wealthy aristocrats who took against our king for reasons of their own. There's no doubt Sigismund had his fingers in the whole affair, him and Wenceslas's cousin Jobst. And that cabal helped him abduct the king.
So then why did Sigismund attack Kuttenberg?
Why do you think?
Because the lords there could have risen against him with their armies and stopped his conquest of the Bohemian territories?
That's part of it. King Charles, may God grant him eternal glory, built Prague into a proper royal city, while King Wenceslas took a liking to Kuttenberg. After Prague, it's the most important city in Bohemia, in the entire Holy Roman Empire. He who commands the Kuttenberg silver is king.
So Kuttenberg sided with Wenceslas because he favoured it?
Now you're starting to understand. When Sigismund imprisoned Wenceslas and took control of Prague, the people of Kuttenberg began to raise an army against him. So with the attack on Kuttenberg, Sigismund killed two birds with one stone. He defeated Wenceslas's most powerful allies before they could stand against him, and also gained immense wealth.
Where did these Cumans come from anyway?
I don't know much about them, only what the Chamberlain said. That they came to Hungary from the east and settled there. They're godless barbarians and merciless fighters. The nobles used to say the Hungarian king shouldn't enlist them, because they dishonor our rules of warfare. But when there's power and money to be had, it seems that honor isn't worth my spit. And believe me, it's always about power and money.
So Robard, I need to get to Skalitz.
What would you do there, lad? Sigismund might have left, but the place will be swamped with robber barons, brigands, deserters, and other vermin. And anyway, your lord commanded you to stay here.
Ooh, we don't know what their stats are. By the way, last conversation with the lady, she had a shockingly high combat score, which probably makes sense actually, because frankly my character sucks at everything. But easily my best skill is charisma, and I'm not going to beat him at that one, I'm pretty sure. Also, the dialogue is "let me out before I lose my temper," which I'm pretty sure would also not work.
So Robard, my parents died there. I can't leave them to be eaten by dogs. What would you do in my place?
Sorry, lad, but I won't take orders. You'll have to wait until everything settles down, and maybe your lord will change his mind.
You've learned of Jobst of Moravia. A lot of names to keep track of here. Alright. He still wants to bury them, which means we have to get out of the castle and maybe get a horse, or go on a very long walk, which would not go easily for us. I think the brightness has returned to the game. That's good. No more weird filter. Seems everyone's just freaking out about everything, really.
He did, but I didn't want to upset the old woman by chasing him for it.
Or not.
Better never to lend money to kin. It's always a nuisance.
Never mind. They're actually just having small talk, basically. So my total inventory right now, not weight. I keep wanting to press the select button. Our nourishment's fine. Our energy is not that great, honestly. I didn't really get a night of sleep yet. Main level 1. How does this work? It says main level 3 on the right side of the screen, but here it says main level 1. but it has plus next to it. Show more. You can get bandages if you get first aid 1, but in order to have that, you need to be minimum level 3. Do I already have this skill? I do. I already have first aid, but I can click on these other skills to learn them. And and it says main level 1. I think I have a skill to spend right now. I think that's the idea, right? Wanderer. You grew up in impoverished conditions, so comfort of beds is inverted for you. The worse the bed, the better you sleep, and vice versa. Admittedly, it might be hard to find good beds, so that could be a powerful thing. Slightly increases the sight distance of fast travel and also chances of evading by 10%. Your stamina will regenerate 20% faster at night, but 10% slower during the day. Manly odor. When dirty, you have 50% more charisma when talking to women. However, people will smell you a mile off, reducing your stealth skill by 30%. Okay. Aesthetic. You'll last 30% longer without food, but as soon as you get hungry, its effects will be 20% worse. Oof. Oof. There's some interesting options here. I find it interesting how they all have offsides, downsides, except for this one. First aid is just a good thing, period. Health, stamina, nourishment. The maximum nourishment's 120, apparently. I can also increase these skills, apparently. Or it says show more. Oh, I can learn, like, sub-skills or something. What? Ah! Damn it. I, like, quit out. Is the idea that... Yeah, I can't learn anything in here. I think I might have gotten so much bonus strength that I might have the ability to learn another skill. Okay, yeah, the plus on the left side of the screen seems to actually just indicate that you can expand it. So I seem to have 1 point I can spend on a strength skill. Gravedigger. Carrying dead or unconscious bodies won't cost you any stamina, but they will burden you, and they will burden you only half as much. So you specialize in carrying bodies. Could be useful if you're stealthing around and wiping some dudes out, or even dealing with what I'm about to do in the story. Blocking an opponent's blow will cost you 30% less stamina. That's also pretty good. Let's learn that one. So now I have Stronghold as a skill. I'm not entirely sure what I want here. 10% chance of evading, it could be cool. Having better rest from shittier beds could be really good. We also might get better stuff later. Increases the time you can do without sleep. Your energy level falls 1/4 more slowly. There's other options waiting for me later. I don't think I want to ruin my stealth skill necessarily. Let's go for the one where I can get away with less food overall. So the penalty can be worse, but I'll last 30% longer without food, which seems like it'd be very useful in this game. I believe that's all those points I can spend. That makes more sense now. So at the time, I thought it said main level 1. I'm like, why are you saying it's main level 1? It's saying that in the main category of perks, I had 1 point I could spend. That makes way more sense. Okay. Yeah, I do have some food sitting around, so that part's good. So he wants to sneak out and grab a horse. But doing so might not be easy, because of the whole being ordered to stay here thing. Granted. Little hop. A little hard to stop, right? This guy's watching, though. Does he care, though? I don't know if he cares. Really should have pressed the other one. There we go. Curious about that, right? Oh, it just says unexplored place. Looks like it's the central structure behind me. There's a combat arena. Let's find out what the unexplored place is. It's this really big building in the middle, right? The Trader. Sorry.
Where did you hear?
Everyone got really mad simultaneously. Not necessarily mad, but even the guard inside woke up. That's the trade house. Okay, well I have no money basically, right? I have 2.1 Groschen. That's Groschen. There's a lot of dosh in this big bad world. All the things I could buy. Is that what? I assume that's a reference to something that exists, unless somebody just got bored and wrote a rhyme or something in the middle of their game.